A judge has accepted a plea deal in the federal civil rights case for former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Chauvin pled guilty in December of last year to depriving George Floyd of his civil rights in relation to Floyd's murder in May of 2020. On Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Paul Magnuson said he has accepted the terms of Chauvin's plea agreement and will sentence him to 20 to 25 years in prison. However, under the agreement, Chauvin will most likely serve between 17 and a little more than 21 years in prison. Chauvin is already serving a 22.5-year sentence for his murder conviction in state court last year. The federal sentence would be served concurrently with that sentence. A day after Johnny Depp rested his case against his ex-wife Amber Heard for defamation, Heard took the witness stand in a Virginia courtroom on Wednesday. Heard discussed her relationship with the actor for the first time since the trial had begun. Depp is suing Heard in a $50 million defamation case for hurting his career. She, in return, is countersuing with a $100 million defamation lawsuit and allegations of domestic abuse. This all stems from allegations of abuse made against Depp by Heard in a 2018 op-ed piece for the Washington Post. Depp denies physical and sexual abuse, but while on the stand, he did admit to cocaine use. Heard's attorneys blame Depp's lack of memory on him blacking out during abusive episodes. Over the past few weeks, a jury has heard evidence from both sides to determine if Heard acted with malice against Depp in writing the op-ed piece. The U.S. Department of Justice announced the arrest of multiple medical officials charged with opioid distribution on Wednesday. The Appalachian Regional Prescription Opioid Strike Force, or ARPO, announced that 12 medical professionals have been charged as part of a multi-state, multi-agency operation. In one case, a Kentucky dentist was charged with unlawfully prescribing morphine. He is accused of providing 3 opioid prescriptions to a 24-year-old patient in a 5-day period. The patient would later die because of a morphine overdose. The task force, which was established in 2018, has arrested more than 100 individuals, which accounts for 115 million pills. The opioid epidemic is blamed for more than 75,000 deaths last year alone, impacting families and communities across the country. And some of the states involved in the crackdown include Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, and Alabama. The Biden administration is taking steps to combat inflation, which is at a 40-year high. The Federal Reserve is raising interest rates by the most in more than 2 decades. NBC's Bree Jackson has more.
From gas to groceries, Americans are feeling the financial pinch.
Food is high, the gas is high, the electric bills went up.
In an effort to tame record high inflation, the Federal Reserve is taking aggressive action, announcing its biggest rate hike in 22 years.
It is essential that we bring inflation down if we are to have a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all.
Increasing interest rates by 0.5 percentage point means things like auto loans, credit card debt, and mortgages will become more expensive. Republicans argue the economy is worse off because of Democratic policies.
Interest rates certainly influence the economy. We're having to raise interest rates because of Bidenomics.
President Biden blames Republican predecessors.
The bottom line is that for decades, the trickle-down economics has failed as income inequity grew to historic levels under the Republicans.
The president touting plans to reduce the deficit by $1.5 trillion, saying it's part of his administration's overall strategy aimed at combating inflation and helping the country recover from the pandemic.
It's time to grow the economy, but from the bottom up and the middle out.
As President Biden seeks to reassure families, the U.S. hit another grim milestone. More than 1 million Americans lost to COVID-19. In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.